Ronald Bilius. Ron Weasley is a fictional character in J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series. His first appearance was in the first book of the series, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Is the best friend of Harry Potter and Hermione Granger. He is a member of the Weasley family, a pure-blood family, who reside in the Burrow outside Ottery St. Catchpole. Along with Harry and Hermione, he is a member of the Gryffindor house. Ron is present in most of the action throughout the series. Character development. According to Rowling, Ron was among the characters she created the very first day. Ron is inspired by Rowling's best friend Sean Harris, but she has clearly stated that she never set out to describe Sean in Ron, but Ron has a Seanish turn of phrase. Like Harris is to Rowling, Ron is always there, when Harry needs him. The character of Ron fits many of the stereotypes expected of the sidekick. He is often used as comic relief, is loyal to the hero, and lacks much of the talent Harry possesses, at least in terms of magical power. However, he proves his bravery several times, such as playing real wizard's chess in the first book, and entering into the Forbidden Forest with Harry during the second book despite his arachnophobia. Some of Ron's qualities serve as foils to Harry. While Harry is an orphan with more gold than he needs, Ron comes from a loving but poor family. Many of his possessions are hand-me-downs. Harry is famous but would prefer to avoid the spotlight. Ron, in comparison, is often perceived as a mere lackey and sometimes becomes jealous of the recognition Harry receives. Finally, Ron is the most mediocre of his siblings, being neither an excellent Quidditch player, a noteworthy student, nor the daughter his mother always wanted. All these factors have combined to cause Ron serious insecurities. This inferiority complex, and his need to prove himself, is the main thrust of his character arc. Appearances. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Rowling first introduces Ron with his family in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Harry is lost at King's Cross railway station and the Weasleys guide him through the barrier of platform 9 3/4 into the wizarding world. Ron and Harry share a compartment on the Hogwarts Express, and they begin their friendship, Ron fascinated with the famous Harry, and Harry fascinated with the ordinary Ron. It is here that they both meet Hermione Granger as well, whom they initially dislike but who later becomes their close friend after they save each other during a dangerous encounter with a mountain troll. ch6, Ron and Harry share the same classes throughout the series, and generally have similar academic successes and disappointments. Ron plays a vital part in the quest to save the Philosopher's Stone. His strategy at wizard's chess allows Hermione and Harry to proceed safely through a dangerous life-size, animated chess game. During the game, Ron allows his piece to be sacrificed and is subsequently knocked unconscious. ch16, at the leaving feast, the last dinner of the school year, Albus Dumbledore, Hogwarts headmaster, awards Ron 50 house points to Gryffindor for the best played game of chess Hogwarts has seen in many years. These last-minute points help support Gryffindor's win of the House Cup. ch17, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, the second installment, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, takes place the year following the events of the Philosopher's Stone. During the summer, Ron attempts to write to Harry several times. He receives no reply because Dobby the house elf is stopping Harry's wizard mail. Ron becomes so concerned that he and his brothers Fred and George fly their father's enchanted Ford Anglia car to Harry's home at his aunt and uncle's house. Harry spends the next month at the Weasleys' home, the Burrow. While attempting to depart from King's Cross Station, Harry and Ron find themselves unable to enter the barrier to access platform 9 3/4. With Harry, Ron conceives the idea of taking the flying Ford Anglia to Hogwarts. The plan is successful, but the Anglia loses power at the end of the journey and crashes into the Whomping Willow. Ron and Harry survive the impact, but the car drives itself off into the Forbidden Forest, a forest at the edge of the Hogwarts grounds in which student access is prohibited. Ron receives a howler from his mother, berating him for taking the car. Later in the novel, Ron and Harry transform themselves using Polyjuice Potion to resemble Draco Malfoy's close associates Crabbe and Goyle, so that they can spy on him, and find out what he knows about the Chamber of Secrets. During the hunt to find the heir of Slytherin, Ron is responsible for providing the first clue to the identity of Tom Marvolo Riddle, recalling that he saw the name Tom Riddle on a trophy inscribed for special services to the school. Later Ron is forced to come face to face with his worst nightmare, spiders, in the Forbidden Forest, where the two have ventured at Hagrid's suggestion. Giant spiders nearly devour the two of them, but the Weasley Ford Anglia returns from the Forbidden Forest and rescues the pair. Ron and Harry then discover the entrance into the chamber, and enter it in the hopes of saving Ginny Weasley, Ron's sister, who had been kidnapped and kept in the chamber. Due to an accident with Ron's wand, the chamber entrance's ceiling collapses, trapping Ron on one side and Harry on the other. Harry goes on to rescue Ginny and save the day. Ron and Harry are given special awards for services to the school for this, and he receives 200 points, along with Harry for their success in the Chamber of Secrets. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. In Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Ron's role is minor compared to that in Chamber of Secrets, and Hermione's role, which was more sidelined in Chamber of Secrets, is larger. When Ron's rat, Scabbers, already seen in Philosopher's Stone, goes missing, he blames Hermione's new cat Crookshanks, and the two have a falling out. Poe or CH11, Poe or CH12, they eventually make up when Hermione has a nervous breakdown brought by taking too many classes and distress at the fate of the hippogriff Buckbeak. The animal, owned by Hagrid, has been put on trial for injuring Draco Malfoy and risks execution. Ron offers to help with the preparation of Buckbeak's defense, but this fails to help. Harry, Ron and Hermione go to see Hagrid on the execution day where they discover Scabbers hiding out in Hagrid's hut. Poe or CH15, as they leave, Scabbers struggles free of Ron and runs away. He chases Scabbers to the Whomping Willow where he is grabbed by a large black dog and dragged into a tunnel hidden below the tree. Poe or CH16, Poe or CH17, Harry and Hermione follow the tunnel, which leads to the Shrieking Shack. The dog is actually the animal form of Sirius Black, Harry's godfather and an escaped convict from the wizard prison at Azkaban. The school's defense against the dark arts professor Remus Lupin arrives just after Harry and Hermione. Along with Black, Lupin casts a spell on Scabbers, who also turns out to be an animagus by the name of Peter Pettigrew. Pettigrew was Black's, Lupin's, and James Potter's school friend, thought to have been murdered by Black. Poe or CH16, Poe or CH16, Pettigrew, who had lived as a rat ever since faking his death, denies everything, but Sirius and Lupin piece together that he has been a servant of Voldemort, and it was he who divulged the secret whereabouts of Harry's parents, leading to their murder. Initially, Ron does not believe Sirius and refuses to turn over Scabbers to him, but he is disgusted when he learns his rat's identity. Pettigrew escapes when the main characters lead him out of the Whomping Willow. Poe or CH18, Poe or CH19, Poe or CH20, Ron, knocked out by a spell from Pettigrew, is taken to the hospital wing, and is forced to remain there while Harry and Hermione travel back in time to save Sirius and Buckbeak. Poe or CH21, at the end of the novel, Sirius sends Ron an excitable little owl whom Ginny names Pygidgeon, but whom Ron refers to as Pig. Poe or CH22, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. In Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, the Weasleys invite Harry and Hermione to the Quidditch World Cup. Ron is in awe of his favorite Quidditch champion, Victor Krum. Go far CH7, go far CH8, Ron is even more excited when Krum, still a student at the Durmstrang Wizarding School, comes to Hogwarts to take part in the Triwizard Tournament, a magical wizarding tournament opposing the top 3 magic schools in Europe. Go far CH12, however, when Harry, underage, mysteriously becomes the 4th tournament champion, Ron joins the dissenters who think Harry somehow cheated his way into the tournament and feels let down. According to Hermione, this stems from Ron's latent feelings of being left out of the spotlight shared by Harry or his brothers. The rift is serious enough that the friends fail to make up for nearly a month. Go far CH17, they only reconcile shortly after Harry successfully gets by a fire-breathing dragon in the first task. Ron realizes how dangerous the tournament is and finally believes that Harry did not enter himself. At Christmas time, as per Triwizard Tournament tradition, Hogwarts hosts a Yule Ball. Ron and Harry panic at the prospect of having to secure dates for the event, and Ron appalls Hermione with his immature approach, particularly for failing to extend her an invitation, apparently failing until the last minute to even realize she is a girl. At the last minute, Harry saves the day by getting Parvati Patil and her sister Padma to agree to come with the duo, although Padma seems less than pleased at Ron's surly attitude and shabby dress. Ron becomes overcome with jealousy when he sees Hermione with her date, his former idol Victor Krum. When Hermione comes over to Ron and Harry for a friendly chat, Ron loses control and accuses her of fraternizing with the enemy, and giving away Harry's Triwizard secrets. At the evening's end, the two have a heated row, in which Hermione tells Ron he should have asked her before Krum, rather than simply hoping to secure her by default. Go far ch 23, Ron completely fails to get the hint and remains either in denial or oblivious to the pair's increasingly obvious feelings for each other. Ron's jealousy over Krum is mirrored by Hermione's dislike of Fleur Delacour, on whom Ron has an obvious crush. Go far ch 22, in the second task of the tournament, Ron is the person selected for Harry to rescue from the depths of the Hogwarts lake, as he is the one whom Harry would most miss. Harry successfully saves him and Ron mocks him gently for thinking that the hostages for the task were in actual danger. Go far ch 26, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. In Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Ron is appointed a Gryffindor prefect, much to the surprise of himself and everyone else, especially Hermione, the other new prefect. Ch 9, his brother, Percy, now distant and disconnected from the family, sends Ron an owl congratulating him and advising him to sever ties with Harry and side himself instead with Professor Umbridge, the abominable new defense against the dark arts teacher at Hogwarts. The letter angers Ron. ch 14, Ron explicitly shows his support and loyalty for Harry when his classmates imply Harry is lying about the return of Voldemort, sometimes using his power as prefect to threaten them into silence. ch 15, though they spent their usual amount of time bickering, Ron and Hermione present a united front endorsing Harry. Ron supports Hermione's suggestion of Harry teaching students practical defense against the dark arts, which Umbridge, using the Ministry of Magic to slowly take over the Dumbledore school, has all but banned. He co-founds the secret students group called Dumbledore's Army. ch 15, he also joins the Gryffindor Quidditch team, but his nerves and confidence issues often get the better of him during practices and matches, causing the Slytherins to make up a song about how Ron will make sure Slytherin win the Inter-House Quidditch Cup. However, during the last match, Ron plays better and wins the game in the Quidditch Cup for Gryffindor. At the climax of the novel, Ron battles the Death Eaters alongside Harry, Hermione, Ginny, Neville Longbottom and Luna Lovegood at the Department of Mysteries. He is injured in the fight, but makes a full recovery by the end of the novel. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. In Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Ron, who has grown taller over the summer, attracts the attention of Lavender Brown. Harry, the new Quidditch captain, picks Ron to continue as keeper for the Gryffindor Quidditch team, over competing candidate Cormac McLagan, who is equally skilled but has difficulty with teamwork and following orders. HBPACH 11, upon learning Hermione most likely had kissed Victor Krum, Ron performs increasingly badly at Quidditch, and thrown off by jealousy of his former idol, becomes unkind to Hermione. His low self-esteem is not helped much by his younger sister, Ginny Weasley, who after Ron reacts badly to finding her kissing her boyfriend, throws in the fact that of those in the group, Ron is the only one who has never had his first kiss. To bolster Ron's confidence, Harry pretends to give him Felix Felicis, a potion which makes the drinker lucky. Believing he has actually taken it, Ron performs admirably and Gryffindor wins the match. However, this leads to a major row between Ron and Hermione. Hermione accuses Harry of helping Ron cheat, while Ron berates Hermione for having no faith in his abilities. HBPACH 14, at a post-game celebration, Ron kisses Lavender. Hermione, jealous and seeking retaliation, takes Cormac McLagan as her date to new potions Professor Horace Slughorn's Christmas party, but he proves to be an egomaniac. HBPACH 15, after Christmas, Hermione continues to ignore Ron, stopping only to give him disdainful looks and occasional snide remarks. By now, Ron is visibly discontent with his relationship with Lavender. HBPACH 17, on his birthday in March, Ron accidentally eats love potion-infused chocolate cauldrons. After being cured by Slughorn, he then consumes poisoned mead. Harry saves his life by forcing a Bizarre, a poison antidote, into his mouth, and Ron is transferred to the hospital wing. A panic-stricken Hermione arrives, forgetting her past anger. While sitting by his bed, Hermione, Harry, Ginny and the twins hear Ron mutter Hermione's name in his delirium, although they do not hear what he is saying and ignore it. Conversely, Ron feigns sleep when Lavender visits him. Upon recovering, Ron and Hermione reconcile, HBPACH 18, HBPACH 19, HBPACH 20, and a little while later, Ron and Lavender break up. Rowling in an interview said that she really enjoyed writing the Ron-Lavender business, and the reason that was enjoyable was Ron up to this point has been quite immature compared to the other two, and he kind of needed to make himself worthy of Hermione. He had to grow up emotionally and now he's taken a big step up. Initially, Ron does not support Harry's belief that Draco Malfoy is a Death Eater, a follower of Voldemort, but is later convinced. Before leaving Hogwarts with Dumbledore to recover a Horcrux, Harry arranges for Ron, Hermione, and Ginny together with any of Dumbledore's army they can summon to keep a close watch on Malfoy and Snape. Harry also provides them with the remains of his vial of Felix Felicis, to aid them in the effort. HBPACH 25, despite the DA's watch, Malfoy provides the Death Eater's entrance into Hogwarts, and a battle ensues. Thanks to Felix Felicis, Ron, Hermione and Ginny are unharmed by the Death Eater's hexes during the battle. HBPACH 29, Snape kills Dumbledore during the battle when Malfoy proves that he is unable to. HBPACH 27, during his funeral, Ron comforts a weeping Hermione. Ron and Hermione vow to help Harry find and destroy the Horcruxes and kill Voldemort, even if it means leaving Hogwarts. HBPACH 30, attention is drawn several times to Ron's deepening relationships to Harry and Hermione, with unresolved romantic tension with Hermione being one of the main subplots of the novel. Furthermore, Harry and Ron's friendship has strengthened to the point where Harry can tell Ron that his Quidditch performance is endangering his membership on the team without either character taking it personally. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Ron agrees to go with Harry and Hermione in the quest to destroy all of Voldemort's Horcruxes. Worried that the Ministry, now taken over by Voldemort, will learn he is with Potter on a quest, Ron dresses the family ghoul up in pajamas and spreads the story he is ill with spattergroit, a type of highly contagious magical illness. Ron disguises himself as Reginald Catchpole as the trio attempts to find the locket Horcrux in the possession of Dolores Umbridge. Harry decides he wants someone to wear the Horcrux at all time, fearing it might be lost or stolen. This has a much more profound effect on Ron than it seems to have on Hermione or Harry. Ron ends up lashing out in frustration at the lack of comforts and a concrete plan, eventually leaving his friends behind. Distressed over his absence, Harry and Hermione do not even mention his name during the time that he is gone. However, when they finally mention his name, Ron, who had immediately regretted his decision to leave but was captured by Snatchers and then could not return due to Hermione's anti-Death Eater enchantments, was led to Harry's location by unknown magic within the Deluminator he inherited from Dumbledore. Ron dramatically returns by saving Harry from drowning when Harry is attempting to recover Godric Gryffindor's sword from an icy pool. Harry, a sudden believer in the fate created by his return, immediately forgives Ron and insists it must be Ron who uses the sword to destroy Slytherin's locket. However, the portion of Voldemort's soul inside it plays on Ron's insecurities by revealing that he thinks he is least loved by a mother who craved a daughter, then by showing him a Harry who tells him that he was happier without him and a Hermione that does not return his affections and is involved instead with Harry. Ron summons his courage and finally breaks through the spell, destroying the locket, but is visibly shaken until Harry tells him that he thinks of Hermione as a sister and a friend, nothing more. The trio are eventually captured by Snatchers, and Bellatrix Lestrange tortures Hermione with the Cruciatus Curse for information. This sends Ron into a panic, and he continually screams and fights with all his effort to save her, despite Harry's instruction that he calm down and think of a better plan. The trio and some other prisoners are rescued by Dobby, but the house elf is killed by Bellatrix during the escape. Eventually, the trio returns to Hogwarts, hoping to find the last unknown Horcrux shown in Harry's vision. Having lost the Sword of Gryffindor to Griphook the Goblin, Ron gets an idea to procure more basilisk fangs and manages to speak enough Parseltongue to open the Chamber of Secrets, where Hermione destroys the Horcrux in Helga Hufflepuff's cup. He begins to worry about the fate of Hogwarts elves. Upon hearing this, Hermione drops the basilisk fangs she was carrying and kisses him for the first time. He also takes part in the Battle of Hogwarts, witnessing the death of his brother Fred, and teams up with Neville to defeat Fina Greyback. Epilogue: 19 years after Voldemort's downfall, Ron is married to Hermione and they have 2 children, Rose Weasley, whom they are sending off to her first year at Hogwarts, and a younger son named Hugo Weasley. To ch 37, Ron has also passed his Muggle driving test, despite Hermione's apparent belief that he could not do so without confronting the examiner. However, Ron secretly reveals to Harry he actually did confront the examiner. He and Harry work for the Ministry of Magic as Aurors, and along with Hermione they have helped to revamp the ministry. It is far different from the one that existed before. Before becoming an Auror, Ron joins Georgette Weasley's Wizard Wheezes, which becomes a very lucrative business. Film portrayal: in the film series, Ron is portrayed by Rupert Grint and is one of few characters to appear in all 8 consecutive installments. Although the earlier films have Ron playing a similar role as he does in the books, the best friend of Harry Potter, the later films reduce the character's role in the story significantly. A prime example being the absence of his subplot of being goalie of the Gryffindor Quidditch team in the 5th film. Characterization: outward appearance, Rowling introduces Ron as tall, thin and gangling, with freckles, big hands and feet, and a long nose. ch 6, Ron has the trademark red hair of the Weasleys and is indeed one of Harry's tallest schoolmates, even outgrowing some of his older brothers. Rowling states in the novels that Ron has freckles, though Rupert Grint, the actor who plays Ron, has none. Rowling has also stated that Ron has blue eyes. Personality: Rowling in an interview described Ron as very funny but insensitive and immature. There's a lot of immaturity about Ron, and that's where a lot of the humor comes from. As his first exercise with the actors who portray the central trio, Alfonso Cuarón, who directed the 3rd film in the series, Prisoner of Azkaban, assigned them to write an autobiographical essay about their character, written in the first person, spanning birth to the discovery of the magical world, and including the character's emotional experience. Of Rupert Grint's essay, Cuarón recalls, Rupert didn't deliver the essay. When I questioned why he didn't do it, he said, "I'm Ron. Ron wouldn't do it." So I said, "Okay, you do understand your character." Commenting on Ron's character development in the final book, Rowling explained that Ron is the most immature of the 3 main characters, but in Part 7 he grows up. He was never strong-footed, people see him mostly as Harry's friend. His mother had actually wanted a girl and in the last book he finally has to acknowledge his weaknesses. But it's exactly that which makes Ron a man. Magical abilities and skills: Ron is given Charlie Weasley's old, chipped wand, which is made out of ash and has a unicorn hair sticking out of the end. He holds the wand together with spellotape after nearly breaking it in half at the start of Chamber of Secrets, but it malfunctions dreadfully after this, backfiring spells, making strange noises, and emitting objects from the wrong end. Ron's new wand is 14 inches, willow and unicorn hair, which he procures before the start of his 3rd year at Hogwarts. He also shows signs of exceptional tactical ability, as evidenced by his skill at wizard's chess. Ron's talents are rarely shown, but he, like the other DAR members, survives a violent encounter with adult Death Eaters in Order of the Phoenix, and it is implied that during the Death Eater assault in Half-Blood Prince he held his own quite well because he was being helped by Felix Felicis, the good luck potion. In Deathly Hallows, Ron loses his original wand, and takes Peter Pettigrew's wand for his own. Following this, Ron begins to demonstrate more aptitude and general knowledge, along with a sudden spurt in maturity after a terrible row with Harry. For a while, he effectively leads the trio in the hunt for the Horcruxes while Harry suffers a major depression. Rowling has stated that Ron's Patronus charm takes the form of a Jack Russell Terrier, a really sentimental choice as Rowling herself owns a Jack Russell. Family tree. Ron was born into the Weasley family on March 1, 1980, HBPACH 18, the sixth of their 7 children, and the youngest son. His middle name, Bilius, is the same as that of a deceased uncle. Ron grew up in the family home, the Burrow, near the village of Ottery St. Catchpole in Devon. Ron has 6 siblings. His 5 older brothers, Bill, Charlie, Percy, twins Fred and George, and a younger sister, Ginny, each with their own distinct personality trait. One recurring factor in Ron's siblings is that they often appear to be more confident, self-assured and, to varying degrees, more outwardly talented than he is. The Weasley family is one of the few remaining pure-blood wizarding families, though they were considered blood traitors for associating with non-pure bloods. Moreover, they are far from rich, and are looked down upon by snobbish old families such as the Malfoys. All of the Weasleys have been sorted into Gryffindor House at Hogwarts. All of the Weasley children, except Bill and Percy who both were head boy, are known to have played on the Gryffindor Quidditch team, with Charlie being the captain of the team for at least one of his school years. Charlie, Bill, Percy and Ron were also chosen as the prefect of their house. The Weasleys also all work for the Order of the Phoenix, and all are members except for Ron, Percy, and Ginny, who are not known to officially have been inducted into the Order. Arthur is distantly related to Sirius Black and is part of the famed Black family, though he and the rest of his immediate family have been considered blood traitors, and are disowned. Other distant relatives include Draco Malfoy, Nymphadra Tonks, and Bellatrix Lestrange. Reception. Ron was chosen by IGN as their 3rd favorite Harry Potter character, who said that Ron's status as comic relief made him instantly endearing, and that his frustration and flirtation with Hermione Granger was a highlight. In popular culture, Ron has made several appearances in parodies of Harry Potter. Seth Meyers appeared as Ron in Saturday Night Live in the sketch in which Lindsay Lohan portrays Hermione. On his The Big Impression show, Alistair McGowan did a sketch called Louis Potter and the Philosopher's Scone. It featured impressions of Anne Robinson as Ron. In 2003, Comic Relief performed a spoof story called Harry Potter and the Secret Chamber Pot of Azerbaijan, in which Jennifer Saunders appeared as both Ron and J.K. Rowling. In Harry Potter, Dude Where's My Wand? A play by Desert Star Theatre in Utah, written by sisters Laura J., Amy K. and Anna M. Lewis, Ron appears as Ron Sneasley. In the Harry Bladder sketches in All That, Ron appears as Ron and is played by Brian Hinn. Ron also is a regular character in Potter Puppet Pals sketches by Neil Sierraga. In one of the episodes, The Mysterious Ticking Noise, Ron, along with Snape, Harry, Hermione and Dumbledore, is killed by a bomb placed by Voldemort. The episode being the 17th most viewed video of all time as of 2008 and the winner for Best Comedy of the Year 2007 at YouTube. In the 2008 American comedy film Yes Man, Carl attends a Harry Potter-themed party hosted by Norman, in which Norman disguises as Ron. In A Very Potter Musical and A Very Potter Sequel, parody musicals by Star Kid Productions, Ron was portrayed by Joey Richter. References. External links. Ron Weasley on Harry Potter Wiki, an external wiki, Ron Weasley at Harry Potter Lexicon.